Hello, everybody. How are you guys all doing out there in the world of Wraith? You ever realize that Wraith is just an anagram of Earth? It's not. There's a W in there. Is there? No, wait, there's not. W's in welcome. It is. It is. Oh, I gotta mute that, sorry. That's how I keep up with the chat. I have the stream up on my second monitor, which is my cell phone. But gotta mute it, or else it can be distracting. So, a lot of you guys might know I like Aelia. And a lot of you guys might realize that Aelia is extremely close to Living Legend. She might beat Dash, which is kind of crazy. Dash and Aelia came out together. And I don't know if Dash was a powerhouse right off the rip. I know when Crucible of War came out, Dash became like a top dog in Classic Constructed. But in Arcane Rising, I don't know if Dash was, I gotta think maybe she'd be the best, but then again, Fatigue was a real thing back then. There was Unmovable, there was Sink Below, there was Fate Foreseen, Sigil of Solace, so a good warrior could probably just block Dash out for Guardian. But even still, I know during Crew she was a powerhouse. So to see the fact that Aelia might just beat Dash in the race, pretty rough. But I'm proud of my girl. She's gonna beat my boy Fi too. Look at that. There's Fi right there. There's Prism. Who was the first hero to Living Legends? Was it Prism or was it Chain? Alright, it wouldn't be there, would it? Be down here? Okay, yeah. Was it Prism? Or was it Chain? I don't remember. Somebody in the chat remind me. I was there for both of them. Such a weird thing back then. Look at New. Oh wow, just barely crossed the finish line. Back when no hero had Living Legend yet, it felt like this crazy thing that was more mythic than real. Like, when's it gonna happen? And now a ton of heroes have Living Legend. Some more recently than others. Aurora, man. A friend of mine came back into the game. He played casually with me back during Monarch. And then, had a kid, some stuff with life, just kind of got busy. And then he came back into the game and picked up an Aurora Armory deck. And really, it was first the little Blitz decks, but they weren't Blitz decks. They were, I don't know, that product that was like a little better than a Blitz deck that came out, her and the Earth hero, Terra. He bought that, and then he bought the Armory deck, and he was pretty stoked to play Aurora. And then she Living Legend in no time. But I mean, LSS said that she'll be coming back, so that's good enough. That's good. They realized that she shouldn't have gone that fast, so I don't know if she was always going to have a repeat hero this soon. Probably not. I gotta imagine they put that on a fast track to get it out sooner. You wouldn't make a second Aurora while... Yeah, they did it with Dash, though. But that took a long time. Was this originally the Dark Ritual video or whatnot? No, I think the Dark Ritual video was going to be Ed, and that was supposed to be yesterday. But he had like a family thing that came up suddenly. He had to go and do some stuff with family, and it was like do it now or miss it, so he had to do it. They just pushed that further back though. That's it's gonna be like next week, I think. No, today we're talking about losing your hero in Living Legends. And We'll start right here. Because, as you know, I'm an Aelia player. So, my hero is very likely going to Living Legend very soon. Potentially during this national season. Or potentially after it, you know? Could be Singapore, could be something else. I'm hoping it's Singapore. If she's still legal, I'm going to play her in Singapore, even though that probably isn't like the best pick strategically. Like a Gravy or a Syndra or maybe a Prism is a better choice, but if she's still legal for Singapore, I feel like I have to. But in any case, she probably won't be. But Aelia is likely on her way out. So, like, what does a player like me do? Well, I'm fortunate in that there's other Rangers in this game. I could try to play a talented Ranger. You know, generally speaking, talented heroes in the game of Flesh and Blood are more powerful than the ones without talents. So I could hop on the bandwagon of the new set and I could build Marlin. Fortunately, I'm lucky in that like Marlin is maybe the least exciting CC option right now of the three new heroes, so her cards are probably a little bit less expensive. Or I could maybe jump ship and hop on Riptide. Riptide is non-talented like Aelia. He runs Trench, so he bottoms cards like Aelia, you know? And he has really cool lines, like he does some very interesting things with his cards that other heroes can't do, you know? Another hero where, like, if you make him go second, but you're like one of those chip damage on turn 0 decks, like Syndra, you could just accidentally give Riptide like a 5-card hand, which would be insane if he happens to have a trap on turn 0. But Riptide is actually a pretty good option. Like he's not exactly like Aelia, but he does some pretty cool things. And he's basically using a lot of similar cards. So, like, that's a big thing to think about in the game of Flesh and Blood. Like, when I lose Aelia, what am I going to do with my deck? Well, my Codex of Frailties and stuff are still pretty darn powerful in other Rangers, so that's maybe the first place I should look. In fact, I'm friends with somebody who's a really good Riptide player in the form of my teammate Damien. So if I wanted to learn Riptide, I'd basically have, like, the deck stacked in my favor. What's up, Lee? Is this where all the widows hang out? I recently lost my wife, New. Ha! Funny you say that. Well, give me 1 second, though, before we get there. The other option I have for my Aelia deck, you know, Living Legend happens. What do? Well, Aelia probably isn't a super good choice for Living Legend just because she's maybe a little too fair for that format. But you could take your Aelia cards and maybe build a Lexi deck. Now, Lexi is historically an incredibly strong hero. Just ridiculous. So it stands to reason that in Living Legend, you know, she's going to have some chops, so there's a good home for your cards. In fact, with all the bans that happened recently, I've heard some rumors that Lexi might actually be kind of cracked in Living Legend. I don't know how true this is. I gotta test it because it is a side event in Singapore. But I've heard some whispers around the campfire that you know, a ranger with good blue arrows in those new blue Go Again arrow shoes is like a pretty nice combo. In any case, the things that she did before were already pretty strong. As we saw, Summer, relatively well-known Flesh and Blood player, top-8'd with Lexi back in the day when Verdance, I think it was Verdance, yeah, had Kraken's Aether Vein still. Like, that's pretty good. But yeah, Lexi is a strong hero and another home for your cards. But that's, you know, that's basically saying, I surrender. I'm not going to move on to a new Ranger in Classic Constructed. I'm just going to use these cards in Living Legend. So let's talk about another hero. Let's take a step back. Let's talk about New. New is a hero who has a bunch of assassin options that you can play. Now, admittedly, your mystic cards aren't going to be playable because none of these heroes are mystic, but like, if you want to play another assassin, you've got a bunch of options. This one's kind of a not great option, but the other two Arachnes, or 7 Arachnes, however many it is, are like perfectly good heroes. They're both super duper strong, and Azuri is sexy. Truth be told, I actually don't know how strong Azuri is in the meta right now. I gotta think she's at least okay. Like, I mean, she does some cool stuff. You guys tell me, how's Azuri right now? Stop coping. Sean, I'm gonna cope as much as I need to cope. It's not the same. I tried other assassins. Guardian isn't as scared. To be honest, man, I'm having issues with finding a new hero. Syndra is Syndra fun for the first 20 games. I cannot see Lexi being insane in Living Legend with Starvo, Oldham, Prism still hurt. Yeah. Finally catch the stream. Are you choosing a new main? I'm just talking about the process of choosing a new main. We are going to get to that part of the discussion as we go, but right now we're just basically dipping our big toe into the pool. Solid C is Azuri, nothing more? Okay. Alright, well, Lee is someone I trust the opinion of, especially as someone who's a very good assassin player. We've had very many Aelia versus new games, and I believe he has the lead in the win-loss. We were kind of going back and forth a little bit, but I think he officially took the lead the last time we played. And these are, well, one of them was an armory, but these are pretty much all competitive events. And that armory was fucking competitive. Lexi is probably best Living Legend deck. See? All right, there's one person who says it in the chat. So yeah, though, like, I think, like Lee's saying, none of these assassins are mystic assassins, and I believe that is really what just made New such a standout hero. I'll admit, I've never been like the hugest, I've never been like really drawn to play assassin, but when I saw that New could just like play your opponent's cards with the hero ability, I was like, that's pretty fucking cool. Like, as far as assassin goes, that's pretty neat. I like that. So you don't really have that anymore. What else was New doing? She was forcing her opponents to banish cards with the mask, which is just like, you always have that disruption on a stick, which is really good. Always, I mean, you're not always going to have a inner chi, but boy, it felt like they always had an inner chi, huh? So yeah, no, I see that. I think Mario and Slippy are probably the only real options, but it's like a real option. If you love Assassin, you can play Slippy, and you can play Infiltrate if you still want to try and play your opponent's cards. I know it's not quite the same, but it's still there. And in Mario, you know, you do some very cool stuff. He's uber disruptive. He's very strong. The daggers are like really impressive. So there's at least a home. You know, there's somewhere to take your stuff. But I feel you. It's not quite the same, and that's kind of where you have to just wait for either New to come back or we can move on to the next topic of discussion. Let's take another step back. Now, a lot of people come up to me at events lately, and they're like, Willie B, Will, what are you going to play when Aelia Living Legends? It's like, you guys don't realize, like, I've done this before. I've been playing Flesh and Blood for quite a while now. Prism was my first deck. My first true love in the game of Flesh and Blood. So when I lost my first deck, I'll admit, it was a pretty big bummer. So what did I do? Well, I did what I've been talking about this whole time. First, at this point, we had a new illusionist already in the form of Dromai. So I thought, well, let's play Dromai. And so Prism Living Legend, and I played Dromai for like a cool, I don't know, I want to say like 3 months maybe not even that long actually, maybe just like a month and a half or 2 months. But I was playing Dromai. I was trying to be a good illusionist, and and play the class that I was had all my I had like put all my time and effort into becoming a good prism player, so I wanted to keep being a good illusionist. And I gotta tell you, I grew to hate Dromai. Dromai did not play the way that I wanted to play. For whatever reason, and Dromai's a great hero. Friends of mine played Dromai to great success. Jeremy Chen, great friend of mine, he took down like a couple events with Dromai, or at least one, and was beating people on camera with her. I was so impressed, see a pal of mine kicking butt with the hero that I was like jumping on before the rest of my local meta. He was a 5-player at first. But yeah, it just didn't click with me. I grew to, like, I very much was like, I don't like this hero. It's an illusionist. I should like it, but I just didn't like it. I didn't think it was fun. I didn't like the way it approached the matchups compared to the way Prism approached the matchups. So that was like the first step for me in realizing, like, okay, this is not going to be my new deck. So in this moment of weakness, or maybe not weakness, but this moment of being lost, I was like, well, crap, who am I going to play? I got to play somebody in this game of Flesh and Blood. There were 2 other heroes. There was Fi, and there was Icelander. Now, a lot of my friends told me to play Icelander. They're like, she's kind of like an illusionist, She's doing stuff at instant speed. She's disruptive, even though I guess like Prism wasn't exactly disruptive. Well, she could be. Certain tools could do it. Arclight Sentinel. Yeah, Channel Lake Frigid is kind of like an Arclight Sentinel. Throws big attacks, kind of like Prism did. They just don't have Phantasm, but sometimes they come in for 8, But Icelander, at the time, I wasn't really much of a wizard guy. So I decided I didn't want to play that. It wasn't really my speed. In retrospect, I think I should have played it. It looked super fun. Like, whenever I watch old clips of people playing Icelander, like Hamilton and such, I'm just like, man, that deck's pretty cool. But no, I played Fi. He was easy to play. So, just changing my brain over from this into Ninja. And I knew I liked Katsu in WTR. WTR Draft was like my favorite thing to play. So it was like, okay, let's play a Ninja. And Fi was great. Fi was awesome. People love to say that he was just like a head jab generator and he was so easy to play. And he played a lot of head jabs, admittedly. But, back in the day, you had to like figure out how to beat Oldham. And sometimes it would come down to this like endgame loop where all you would have left are like blue attacks and Phoenix Flames. And you would like, you would pitch blues into Fi while on defense to get a Phoenix Flame. Then you'd have a Phoenix Flame in your arsenal, so you could turn on Shuko for the second one. Like, it was cool just figuring out these endgame loops. Like, Art of War was awesome in this deck. Like, using a Phoenix Flame for Art of War, or for like even something as simple as like an Enlightened Strike. Especially if you already had like more than one in the graveyard, or that's really the only time you should be doing it, unless it was like a Hail Mary play. But he was cool. He was so fun. I liked him. It was a really satisfying hero to play. It was like, sometimes that's what you need too. It's like, this is a new hero, so like, why jump into something that's super hard if you maybe aren't going to fall in love with it right away? Like, maybe jump into something easy, something that's like going to be fun. It's like, and it's kind of like Lee was saying earlier. He was on Syndra, and he was saying Syndra can only be fun for however long. And I guess I can kind of see that. I've wanted to build and play Syndra. Like, I think the Flick Knives stuff is pretty cool. But I'll admit, she doesn't seem like the most, what's the word? Like solving a puzzle is fun. Doesn't seem like Syndra's puzzle would be uber interesting. But I don't know. I need to play the hero before I go making those claims. I just have leads going off of who says, like, he enjoyed the first 20 Syndra games, but what about the remaining after that? I don't know. Lee, you tell me. You fill me in on Syndra. But yeah, so I jumped ship to Fi. I was also lucky in that, like, Prism is an illusionist, and it seems like LSS really likes illusionists. They gave us another Prism, which I do play. I think she's pretty fun. Every once in a while, I have a friend like Andrew Cook, top 8 Pro Tour, and then US Nationals with her back to back. And I'm like, man, I should be playing that hero more. But I really just bring her to local armories. I'm not, I don't know. I play her for fun. I guess we'll have to sit down and play her competitively more, but that's just a deck that I'm like, oh yeah, Prism, cool. I try not to take it too seriously. Then there's Enigma. Enigma was actually a great deck, as we saw by how quickly she hit Living Legend and how strong of a hold she had on the meta, even when people were trying to target her specifically. Hilariously, I loved the Aelia matchup into that deck. If you had like the right cards and the right game plan, you could really beat her up. Sometimes, you know, Mirror Guy was just a cheat code, but yeah, whatever. But yeah, I played Enigma at one Pro Tour. I believe the one she got Living Legend at. That was a case of needing a little bit more time with the hero. I jumped on her because I knew she was the best deck, but I jumped on her late, and I definitely showed some of my my lack of learning at the tournament. But then also Briar, you know, what an awesome hero Briar was. That was just Nathan. Nathan was like the best Briar player in town. He taught me how to do it, and I top 8'd like a Battle Hardened and a ProQuest Plus with her. She was pretty sick. So really, you just gotta experiment, you know, like be willing to play something new, something fun, something that people maybe are dogging on, like Fi's just 3-3-3-3-3-3-3. Like be willing to just experiment and have fun with it. And that kind of brings us to the broad overall point of this discussion. Play what's best, you know? If you want to win, then you should be looking at either Gravy or Verdance, in my opinion. If your hero's gonna Living Legends, a lot of the time, you can just look at what's the best deck right now. I'm trying to play Flesh and Blood at a competitive level. I'm trying to win. So maybe I'll just force myself to play whatever is considered potentially the best deck. And right now, I'd argue the best decks are probably Verdance and Gravy. We'll see how things shake out, you know? Gravy can be kind of hated on if you have a ton of ninja at the tournament just trying to eat Gravy. But Verdance, man, I think she's already won 2 nationals. She won US Nationals with Majin Bay. And honestly, the chick's impressive as hell. My local took down the armory this past Sunday, which is like, it's just an armory. But I think it was like his second time playing Verdance, and he kicked my butt with it. Like, she's super good. She's kind of like Icelander. If we can cycle back to earlier, where like play Icelander, she's probably the best deck, and I played Fi. I still had a great time with Fi. He was awesome. And then Lexi was really, that was the time I got to play the best deck, and it ruled. But no, like Verdance is like throwing these big attacks. She's gaining all this life, so she can really drag the game out if your game plan isn't coming together. Like, so either you have a game plan that doesn't work super well into Verdance, or you do have a good game plan, but say the cards just don't come right. Say you make one mistake, or literally you just draw hands that are like kind of below average. Your deck is just kind of being a brick simulator. And if that happens, even if you have like an advantage in the Verdance, sometimes the fact that you aren't closing the game out quick enough, and she's able to just like throw these big chunky attacks and gain life all the way along, suddenly you're now at like 4 life and she's at like 8 or 9 or whatever, and there's an 8 coming at you, and she's about to gain 3 up to 11. It's like, well, now you've lost the game. It's like, this matchup was favored for you, but because you drew just a little crappy or you made one mistake, now Verdance is going to win, and there's nothing you can do, especially if like you're a deck that can be potentially fatigued. Like, my goodness. And then Gravy's just a board state hero. Like, Why not? It's kind of a no-brainer. I haven't bought any gravy cards yet. A lot of my teammates have. They a lot of them played at US Nats with him. I think he's a great hero, and as we've seen in the past, board state heroes are pretty sick and very good in the game of Flesh and Blood. But I don't know. I don't think he's exactly my cup of tea. If he turns out to just be a broken cheat code, then sure, I'll play him. But we'll wait and see how that pans out. And then, of course, there's always the other option, the total complete opposite. Instead of playing a meta hero that's likely going to Living Legend and cause you another headache, you could play a hero that is likely to never Living Legends. Look at my boy Eugene. My Eugene has had a main deck since WTR. Since WTR, Rhinar has been Eugene's ride or die, and he'll probably continue to be his ride or die for quite some time. Why play the best deck when you can play one of the worst decks and never ever have to worry about your hero achieving Living Legend? If your hero never makes it to Living Legend, then you never have to play or build another hero. You could play Betsy or Olympia forever. Let's see. What are you guys saying in the chat? Alrighty then. Oh my gosh, I missed a bunch of chat. Alrighty then. By 2 wins total. Oh yeah. Lee is beating me by 2 wins currently. Oh, the other assassins lose to Kano? Okay. For me, New felt more like a Ruinblade Guardian fusion than Assassin, but it's just me. What? A Ruinblade Guardian fusion? Why is that? She's not throwing any arcane. I guess when she steals and plays Guardian attacks, or Ruinblade attacks, because they both kind of sometimes play playable blues. Sure. But aside from that, I don't really think she's doing anything that's Ruinblade or Guardian-like, unless she's playing Ruinblade or Guardian cards. It's a tough process after your favorite hero Living Legends. Icelander, Living Legend, now I'm Fatigue Olympia. Needless to say, I'm struggling. Hey, what we just talked about, you're never going to have to worry about Fatigue Olympia Living Legends. Icelander was a cool deck, though. I met you when I was on Dromai, and you were on Aelia. Okay. That's funny. I used to like beating Dromai with Aelia. It was hard, but you could do it. It was super hard, though. It was not a favorable matchup, but every time you beat him, it was, like, awesome. Is Syndra fun? Yes. Does she do the same exact thing on repeat? Yes. There really isn't much to it that makes it thought-provoking. It's a decision tree deck. That's about it. Fun, yes. Not thought-provoking. Okay, cool. Yeah, and I guess coming from New, which is pretty darn thought-provoking. That makes sense. For me, Prism was really fun, but then I burned out. She's not the same as the old one. Okay. Gravy Stonks going down, Syndra going up. What beats Syndra? Then find that deck and the deck that counters that. Yeah. Isn't that the fun song and dance we always have to do? What's the best deck? What counters that? What counters that? Kasai, by the way, is the answer. Then Verdance beats that. Okay, cool. I have no interest in playing Kasai. You could talk me into playing Verdance. I don't think you could talk me into playing Kasai. Syndra beats Gravy. Vincent beats Syndra. Ooh, Vincent. Vincent's cool. Hey, yeah, play Vincent again if it makes you happy. The meta is back to the triangle theory again. Okay. I don't mind the triangle meta. Sometimes people complain about it, but it's not the worst. Yeah. Verdance. You're pretty sick and good in the game in the flesh of blood. Hey, thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate that. Eugene, 10,000 games of Rhinar. That's why I play Dio. Hey, Dio's great. And shoot, let's look back at the Chrome thing. How close is Dio? I was there when Dio got like her first Living Legend points. Friend of mine. We drove to a ProQuest together, and he took it down. Look at that, 225. She's got a while. Unless she gets something to make her a cheat code. I thought I was going to be able to play Lexi forever, and then they printed Outsiders, LOL. I mean, but how awesome was Lexi during that time, am I right? Like, she was so rad. But I feel ya. Like, Aelia creeping up on Living Legend is always so funny to me because when I first started playing this game, she was such a joke of a hero, you know? I got a cold foil Death Dealer buying a box of unlimited WTR, or maybe Arcane Rising, one of the two though, at my local LGS. It was back when they had the buy box promos and they were cold foil weapons. And I think the Death Dealer was the first one I got. And I remember just looking at that card and being like, man, this is so rad. Like, the artwork is sick. And it does this thing when you load the arrow. And this was back when, like, this is, like, such a new experience for me. It was my first card game. So, like, putting the arrow below the hero in Arsenal and, like, firing it. It almost, this is so silly to say now, but I had this conversation with people back then about how, like, putting the arrow in Arsenal, it almost felt like you were drawing back the string of a bow. And it's like, I don't know, man. I always thought that was so cool. And then as I played the game and realized, like, oh, this hero is not good, we didn't play her. But then when she became good, it was like, oh, this is cool. I liked her back in the day when she was no good. So it's nice to see her rise and do as good as she has. But yeah, I think Verdance is likely to be my next home. I think it's the one hero that excites me the most right now that's kind of a contender. Because she, you know, she's kind of like different Icelander. And I liked the idea of Icelander back then. Her kit and her game plan is pretty fantastic. You mean High Octane? Yeah, High Octane was a pretty sweet card back in the day in Dio. Sadly, Verdance doesn't thrill me given LSS choices and drafts. Reflect a CC. That she's more battle mage instead of... Oh, she's more battle mage as opposed to battle mage. I mean, I don't know. When you land a Ring of Roses relatively early, which I guess it's a one-up, so that's not going to happen often, but like... I guess I see your point though, because she's throwing attacks and like the magic is like a little bit less. I don't know though, man. Any hero that throws a Stormstrider's spell for like 6 is like pretty rough. Plus the Waning Moon, if they're doing the Waning Moon, like they can just throw 9 at you out of nowhere, which is pretty wizardy. It's pretty wizardy. I hear ya. I played as Aelia when the coolest thing you could do was take cover from hand and reload and take cover to block a dominated crippling crush. Hey, that's pretty cool though. Imagine you're Aelia playing into a Bravo back in the day, and the Bravo throws a dominated 11 crippling crush. You're Aelia. You don't have any armor. How are you going to deal with this? You say, no blocks. Go to reactions. No reactions from the Bravo. I'll play take cover from my arsenal. When I play take cover, it allows me to reload 1 card face down. I'll reload this mystery card. I'll react with it. Take cover. Block for 8. Any reactions, Bravo? And then he pummels you. That would be awesome. No, it'd be awesome if he didn't have the pummel and you got to block 8 and only take 3 and still have a 3-card hand. Specifically with Tunic up, and then you can shoot like Endless Arrow for 13. That'd be pretty good. A little 21 damage turn cycle, huh? Stopping a Dominate. And then 13 with an on hit. Pretty good. Hey, it's Mara. I'm still just over here hanging out in the Dromai 2.0 waiting room. Hey, you'll get your Dromai 2.0. I bet you get your Dromai before I get my Aelia 2.0. Although I got my Prism 2.0 pretty quick. Yeah, though, I feel ya. But at the end of the day, the main thing is just play. The main thing is F you. N. The main thing is fun. Just play whatever you think is fun. That's what's gonna give you the best results. That's what's gonna make you want to come to the armory. That's what's gonna make you want to share with your friends and talk about like cool things you've done, cool things you've discovered. Just enjoy yourself. At the end of the day, this is a game. This is a place where we're trying to share and enjoy each other's company. Play whatever you think is fun. I had friends who showed up with Arachne Huntsman, if that's the name of the original Arachne, I think it is. Back when Arachne was like there was a new class. It was Assassin. Is it very good? No. But they still showed up with it, and they had fun. I respect the shit out of that guy. He's a cool cat. Yeah. But that's my spiel on Living Legend. Tell me what you think. I'm trying to be patient. I believe for you, Mara, it's probably it's a slightly tougher task for you. James did say dragon will fly again. Okay, okay. F you, Nathan? That's right. At the end of the day, it's all about F you, Nathan. Alright, should we play a little Flesh and Blood? Why don't we play a little Flesh and Blood? There's a deck I've been meaning to try out. That New Horizon deck that top-aided US Nationals, that was actually the there it is. That was actually the deck that my teammate Taylor Crawford cooked up, and apparently at the last second, one of his friends, said, "Hey, can I borrow your Aelia list?" or something along those lines. And then he made a change, and then he top-aided US Nationals with it. Their name escapes me right now because I'm a douchebag, but I only met them in the brief moments after they top-aided. I said, "Congratulations." He said, "Hey, this is the deck that Taylor had." I was like, "Oh, cool. I almost played that." So we're gonna play it on stream right now. And I you know, Taylor was trying to sell me on it. He was talking it up. I'm a Skullbone Crunchwrap boy at the end of the day, so I wanted to take that one. And I think just as we saw in calling Bologna, Bologna, I think it is. Stefano top-aided with it, and you know, I think Skullbone Crunchwrap is just fine. It is unfortunate in that the matches that I lost at US Nats were lost in such a way that I think having Skullbone Crunchwrap would have won me those games. But there's a real world where I would have been like, oh, if only I had, or no, New Horizon would have won me the games. But there's a world where I'm like, oh, if only I had Skullbone instead. So it is what it is. All right, so we go with this. We turn that off. Let's see. No to tar pit trap. She's got armor, so searing shot is maybe a little bit worse. We'll just play one. Red is fine. Maybe no remorseless. No, D-reacts. Keep the remorseless. We want the battering bolts. Oh, drill shots are in? Alright, so we can take those out. Huh, I'm not super sure how to sideboard. Oh, take out the Merkmeyer grapnels and lose one amplifying arrow. And I probably don't need Codex of Inertia for this matchup. And we'll just run a little fat in case she tries to fatigue me. Alright. The weight is agony, but at least I've got a few other fun heroes to hold me over. That's true. Unsheathed. Alright, +3. And if it's big enough, it gets go again. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, this hand doesn't do anything, so we're probably just going to give her every single card. Probably reacts and gives it go again. That's the trouble. Maybe not. Okay, that's lucky. Still no arrow, but we got a knock, so that's good enough. It's probably just going to be turn, take aim into an endless arrow. Yep, turn, take aim into an endless arrow. I was on the, look at that, I was already on top of the deck. I was on the Aelia Discord the other day, and people were talking about how they don't like Knock the Death Whistle. They were ragging on it pretty hard. And I'm just like, you're crazy. Knock is awesome. Look what Knock just enabled. It was better than Codex of Frailty there. I've been bouncing around. Skullbone Crunchwrap is making me hungry. Hell yeah. New Horizon definitely feels like a high roll potential, but Crunchwrap does its thing. It's always there for you. Absolutely, Moonside. Absolutely. Oh, they got a reaction, I bet. Never mind. There's a reason they're blocking for 7, because that's the only way they can get to 10. That's rough for me, because I don't get to give them all these goodies, and I don't get my arsenal back, but now their armor is basically gone. I mean, they've got 2 left, but not that worried about 2. I'm still at 40. Like, this is a good spot to be in. Does his hand do anything? Well, it blocks. Yeah, we might be blocking here if she lets me. Alright, so gets go again. If it hits, put a +1 counter on it. She can definitely get it to 6. She can definitely get it to 6. Can she get it to 9 is the question. I don't get to have a turn if I give her another card. But I really don't want this to hit, so I maybe could just block it for 9. It could be something as simple as Glint. It could also be... what is it? Glistening? Glistening would be super annoying, because then she can get over it in most cases. I think I'm just going to block it for 9 and say you got to have like Twinning Blade or else. I think she can just go grab Twinning Blade though, which sucks. Is that right? Yeah, Twinning Blade. So maybe I should have held back 1 card, probably. Oh, but she had to pitch that. Never mind, this is fine. I'll just say no, you don't get your counters. You don't get your counters. That hand wasn't really worth defending anyways. Alright, cool. And that's why we ran 2 extra cards for turns like that. And this arrow would go so hard here, but it's alright. We got the armor out of the way. What is this hand? My god. We are drawing so weird. I guess I had 4 arrows. It stands to reason. Oh god, and it's a supremacy turn. Maybe I'll only need to block for 7. I kind of just want to go Codex for Remorseless. Just 7's not going to be good enough here. I'd feel kind of okay about 8. I don't feel super great about 7 though. I could give her Tunic. I could give her New Horizon. Do we just give New Horizon and just play like we have no hat? This doesn't have go again, but she can just break her shoes. This sucks. I haven't fired that other arrow yet though, so losing New Horizon is gonna suck if that happens. Screw it, let's see what happens. Blintz, yeah. Maybe she can't get above 7. Yeah, she can definitely at least do 8. Oh wait, that's not exactly good enough. Holy cow. Nip at the heels? That's great. That's one of those situations where I just didn't have another play. I just accidentally made the right play. It was my only play, but we had to do it. But this is pretty good. Now I get to do something. And I've got a Ponder. Awesome. And those are cards that I did not want her to play. Look at that. Man, what the hell? Am I not playing pumps or something? What are these hands? Okay, it's fine. We're probably just going to blind Aelia here. This is on hit go again, so I probably do want to block this. The most she can get it up to is 6. What's the line here? I wish any of these were a pump, but none of them are. I can't even load unless I find a pump. This will give them a frailty, so it's higher priority. We just block for 6 like this, and then we can pitch that to at least get a resource. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess we just blind no matter what here. Okay, that works. And then it'll probably just be Remorseless in case... Oh, well, it's not actually turned on, that's right. But it's still bigger, and I've got one floating, so it's just got to be it. Yeah. Alright. I can dig it. What? I don't care. Just do them both. Why would I want to reorder the triggers? I guess there's reasons. I just don't currently have any, but there could be. Dawnblade for 2 with no effects? Okay, I gotta say, no blocks to that one, Chief. Yeah. I don't want to fire this Heat Seeker so we can turn on our hat. So yeah, no blocks. We're in a position where we're allowed to. Okay. And they don't get to keep that card. I guess they could break their shoes. They probably should, as a matter of fact. No? I guess it only comes in for 2, but that seems like a decent time to break your shoes. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So, yeah, I'd rather find a pump so we can maybe send like a huge heat seeker. Oh, especially because we got pre-med, yeah. That'll do. Then we'll just pitch whatever we draw. And this is what, 14? Yeah, 14, and I get a double arsenal. They have all 3 blocks so they can block it. And it's probably correct too, actually. It's probably correct too. But we'll see. Hopefully they can't. Ah, crap, they can. Well, they can't do that again. That's too bad, though, because that stops me from getting a double arsenal. That's a bummer. I was excited about that. Well, this hand ain't bad. You gotta start dominating, because she is maybe thinking about blocking out for the rest of the match. But it'll be hard to block out this one, and this will mess up their sword pretty intensely. Keep the last card for Arsenal, trying to mitigate damage, I would imagine, here. Ooh, didn't even want to keep that one. Makes sense. Alright, well, yeah. Definitely need to start finding some dominates. Could maybe take a setup turn here? If I load the Bolton shot and then just set the Rain Razors next to it, or set the Heat Seeker next to it, I could then have a Rain Razors turn next turn. Why don't we try to do that? Like, how disruptive are they really going to be? I'm going to take a setup turn here. I don't know if this is correct, but which one do I want face up, I wonder? I think the Bolton shot. I think I want the Bolton shot face up. Hello. Alright. Well. Now I think I just put the Bolton shot next to it. Oh, wow. We're going to fire a lot of Bolton shots next turn. And they're all going to be red. She might punish us for it. Oh, luckily she had to pitch a red. That's kind of nice. I won't be blocking. She probably breaks her shoes here if I had to guess. I sure would. Even if that last card's a red. Just to swing again for 5. What? Really? Okay. Well, let's start with the one you know. Moto says, pitch stack that Rain Razors and Bolton shot. That's probably the correct advice. But I think the payoff we're going to get here actually made my play pretty worth it. But I think your choice is probably the right one. How about another Bolton shot? Because we're going to have a Rain Razors for 8 here, which is hard to pull off. There's even like a small chance we could have it for 10 if we draw another Bolton shot off the top, like a yellow one. Probably not going to happen. I got absurdly lucky that Aurora was immediately hard confirmed after I made her my entire life. Oh yeah. Can't imagine how others feel that they have been waiting for Dromai. Oh, you mean confirmed to have another hero coming? Yeah, absolutely. Block that one for 6. Cool. And then we just do it like this. We fire that. And then we should bullseye. She can't block anymore, so we're going to do the Heat Seeker for 8. Maybe should have done the Endless Arrow so we have a guaranteed like arrow in Arsenal, but oh, okay, knock. Well, I mean, that's a guaranteed dominate. It's not that bad. Or should I just blind it away? All 3 of our Bolton shots. Ooh, wait, Swift Shot. Yeah, we'll just go grab a Swift Shot. That works. Swift Shot. We'll put... I guess the Drill Shot on the bottom. And since it's Dominate, we'll put the Blood Rat on that. And then we'll just load. And we'll just fire it for 5. Alright, so we gotta finish them, but we're not in a bad spot, I don't think. Hello, Double Rain Razors. What in the world? What does this do again? Okay, I just won't defend it. You got it. Take 9, I guess. Yeah, I don't want you destroying my stuff. I'll take 9. It's got go again? Oh, that bites. They're gonna get their counter. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Because if I block this, I lose my arsenal, so I'm not really incentivized to do that. Alright. But they're at 13 thanks to the Blood Rod. I only have so far to go. We blind here. It's going to be hard to miss. Hello. That's pretty good. Sure. Fire that. We'll make it a 7. And then we'll shoot a big battering bolt. Pop. Hello? There we go. And pop. No reload. We want to hope to draw something. We'll do it off Tunic in case I draw like a yellow arrow. That way I can keep an arsenal. Oop. And we did. Look at that. This for 10. Motherfucker. Alright, so now we just need like one more big dominate, and that should be game. One more big dominate. Taking 1? I wonder what that last card is. Okay, not a reaction. So he's just going to pitch it to swing his sword. Alright. I don't believe it's correct to block this, so we will not. I only have so many cards left in deck. Do I have any take aims or read the glide paths left? Yes, I should have 1. Okay. What the? Oh, finally broke the shoes. You rascal. You little rascal. That's pretty good. See if I can't blind into something here. Not quite what I'm looking for, but that's alright. We can work with it. If I draw another pump, we'll be pretty happy, actually. Oh my Lantis. This is going to be a big old arrow. How big are you? 18. Okay, cool. We didn't even need the dominate. That'll do it. Good game. But that is a scenario where I have to ask you in the chat, did I ever do anything with this new horizon? Yes, I set up that one double arsenal. Okay. And it was pretty cool. It was a Rain Razors for 8. One card 8 for 0 is pretty solid. How about an amplifying for 18 though? That's pretty cool. Well, hell yeah. Alrighty then, well, I do believe that is probably going to do it for me tonight, folks, but I appreciate you guys coming out here and talking to me about Living Legends, about Aelia, about Flesh and Blood, about friendship, about fun. Thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you all. Hope you have a great rest of your night. Enjoy the Flesh and Blood that will be happening this weekend. If anybody's going to be in Singapore, I cannot wait to see you. And until next time, this is Willie B. Signing off. Peace.